We've heard and seen all sorts of shocking things going on within Hollywood in the past few months, and while we thought Diddy's case prepared us for the worst, nothing could have possibly prepared us for the shocking news that Anna Kendrick just revealed. We first discovered Anna Kendrick on the set of Pitch Perfect as the beautiful and impressionable Bella who wasn't afraid to speak her mind. Which is why it was quite surprising when Anna Kendrick revealed that she'd been in an abusive relationship for over 7 years. Anna Kendrick is probably the last person you'd expect to get into an abusive relationship. But 7 years? That's plain insane. During her conversation with Alex Cooper, Anna explained how her role in the 2022 film Alice, Darling felt eerily close to home, as she found herself reflecting on her own real-life experience of an emotionally abusive relationship that spanned over 7 long years. It turns out Anna's decision to take on the role wasn't something she shared with those closest to her at the time. She revealed, "I had just gotten out of a relationship that was extremely similar to the movie," admitting she kept her choice a secret because "I didn't want anybody to tell me to not do it." That's right, she didn't want anyone talking her out of this role. Knowing that it could be an emotional roller coaster she had to ride solo, it's as if she was driven by a need to confront her past through her character's journey, but without the safety net of friends or family, steering her away from what could be a very triggering experience. What's so intriguing is how Anna opened up about the difficulty she faced in recognizing the signs of abuse. Just like her character in Alice Darling, who struggles to identify the manipulation she's undergoing, Anna herself admitted it took her years to come to terms with what was happening. "It didn't follow the traditional pattern," she said, explaining how emotional abuse doesn't always appear the way it's portrayed in articles or self-help books. "I was reading all the articles, and I was going like, this kind of feels like what happened in parts of my relationship, but not completely." For Anna, the relationship seemed to switch almost overnight, marking the start of a painful year-long cycle. She even went on to say, the relationship was 7 years, but it was like an overnight switch, and that went on for about a year. Imagine that. Thinking everything is fine, only for the ground to shift beneath your feet, leaving you questioning everything you thought you knew. Then came the real bombshell. Anna was so deeply trusting of her partner that for a long time, she believed she must be the problem. "It came out of absolutely nowhere," she recalled, "but I had so much love and trust for that person, so I thought it had to be me." But here's where the story takes a surprising twist. Even the therapist, whom Anna and her ex had been seeing together, struggled to identify the abuse at first. Anna shared that in recent years, their former therapist actually apologized to her, explaining that he only recognized the abusive patterns toward the end of their sessions together. "I've had several sessions with him in the last several years," she said, "where he's apologized to me because I think he realized what was going on right toward the end." It's wild to think that a trained therapist is a professional, didn't see it coming either. It really makes you wonder just how subtle and insidious emotional abuse can be, creeping in without the obvious red flags. But it was a single, vulnerable moment in therapy that ended up being a turning point for Anna. She remembered one session in which she completely lost her composure, leading her to send an apologetic email to the therapist afterwards. "I sent the therapist an email being like, 'I'm so embarrassed. I'm so sorry. I know I need to control myself,'" she recounted. But instead of reprimanding her, the therapist responded in a way she didn't expect. "He called me," which he hadn't done before, and was like, "No, I'm so proud of you." And that's when I knew, like, oh, something has shifted. That moment, where someone finally validated her experience and acknowledged her emotions, was a crucial step toward ending the relationship. Things ended pretty quickly after, Anna said, her words a powerful reminder of just how transformative self-realization and support can be. And when it came to deciding whether or not to take on Alice, Darling, Anna's approach was a bit like jumping off a cliff without looking down first. She knew this role was something she had to do, even if it meant reliving painful memories. "It's a similar thing where it was like pushing myself off of a cliff and not giving myself the time to go. Is this a good choice?" she explained. "Because I just didn't want somebody to tell me maybe this is the childhood thing of like, I don't want you to tell me it's bedtime. Like, I need to do this. I'm gonna do this." It seems Anna Kendrick's decision to portray such a raw, emotionally charged character wasn't just a career move, it was a personal journey to confront her past and take back her own life. And while it's shocking to think of Anna, of all people, going through such a dark experience, it's a powerful reminder of just how common emotional manipulation can be, even for the people who seem the most outspoken. While Anna Kendrick only went through emotional blackmail, that doesn't necessarily make this any less serious. The fact that more and more women in Hollywood have been undergoing cases of assault in one form or the other is quite alarming, especially in the entertainment industry. Patricia Douglas, a young dancer and extra in movies, was brought in by MGM Studios to keep guests entertained at a huge party. But what happened to her that night would reveal a shocking level of exploitation and retaliation in Hollywood, one that would stay hidden for years. At the party, with big names in the industry around her, Patricia claimed she was made to drink a lot of alcohol against her will. When she stepped outside to get some fresh air, a guy named David Ross, who worked for MGM selling stuff, allegedly followed her, got her into a car, and beat her up. Despite the shock and trauma, Patricia immediately went to the hospital and filed charges against Ross. She even paid for her own legal fees to fight for what was right. But Hollywood wasn't ready to deal with Patricia's bravery, and MGM seemed determined to keep the story hidden. Right away, they started a campaign to ruin her reputation and keep her quiet. Patricia was publicly shamed and pushed out. Her personal details were leaked, with the media calling her a slut and falsely saying she had an STD. Worse, instead of gathering evidence at the hospital, she was cleaned, wiping away any proof to back up her claims. The case quickly fell apart, with rumors spreading that the prosecutor had been bribed to drop the charges. Patricia became one of the first people to be blacklisted by Hollywood for speaking out. The truth of Patricia's story was almost completely forgotten, hidden away for years. Then, in the early 2000s, director David Sten found her. She was older, but her story was just as powerful. Sten was determined to share her experiences, which he eventually did in Vanity Fair. He even made a documentary called Girl 27, which brought Patricia's story and the lengths the industry went to silence women like her to light. Girl 27 did more than just tell Patricia's story. It exposed Hollywood's deep-rooted culture of exploitation and abuse, a dark side that would only start to be addressed decades later. Since Girl 27 came out, big names in Hollywood like actresses Rose McGowan and Jessica Chastain have publicly backed the documentary, calling it essential for understanding the roots of Hollywood's abusive culture. But if we go back even further, Patricia's case wasn't Hollywood's first scandal. On September 5, 1921, the entertainment world was rocked by a shocking case involving comedian Roscoe "Fatty" Arbuckle. Arbuckle was accused of assaulting Virginia Rapp at a party where she was allegedly drunk and couldn't defend herself. The violence of the assault was so severe that Rapp died just days later. Arbuckle's case got a lot of media attention, with newspaper magnate William Randolph Hearst himself covering it. He revealed that Arbuckle had used a bottle to assault Rapp, a detail that shocked the country and added a gruesome twist to an already horrifying story. So what do you think, fans? Did Anna's courage to share her story give you a new perspective on her journey? And could her raw portrayal in Alice Darling be a way for others to recognize red flags in their own lives? We'd like to hear your thoughts on it. Drop a comment below, hit that subscribe button, and stay tuned as we continue to give you updates on the latest tea in the industry.